All right, so Scary Pool Party, you're joining us today, and you've got some interesting news.
Yeah, got an EP coming out.
So,
Yeah,
I heard it last night, man. It's pretty good. I like it.
awesome. Yeah, the EP's coming out, and I'm just stoked on it, man. I've been jamming it. It's really cool.
I was listening to it late last night, and I was really impressed by the virtuosity of the instrumentation in it. It was pretty active. There was flashes of piano work. There's a lot of raw honesty underlying through the songs, and I could also hear really good chord changes. Almost like if you stripped it down to acoustic, you could hear a really good song. But at the same time, you get away with that production, that active production, because it's actually very tasteful production, which I was thinking, like, you come from that acoustic sort of songwriting sort of thing, but you're experimenting in the studio, and it must be a really nice sort of refreshing sort of enjoyable process for you to hear that production, the way that you've produced that. And as I said, it's very tasteful. It's active, but it's tasteful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I can hear it underneath. I can hear that song underneath the chord changes, and it's really, I reckon it would adapt acoustically as well. But yeah, it's very tasteful, man.
Yeah, I've been trying to really kind of like expand in styles of production, and I'm really thankful like for the people that I have around me that are extremely talented. Like for this EP, my friend TJ, he goes by Sawyer as a producer. We kind of like always been collabing on stuff, as far as like I'll have like a piano riff or a bass riff that I'm messing with, and I'll make the full song, and then I'll just send him ideas, and then he makes it even more cleaner. And because like my thing is like I'm very much a producer, but when I get ideas down, I'm like it's almost like a Picasso painting in a way. Like I'm just like throwing things in that can be something, but some people that I know in my life have like really helped me form it into what it needs to be. And I feel like with this EP, it's been really dope, as far as like the songs having like a message behind it that's really meaningful, but also having like the virtuosity of playing instruments, and like playing piano arpeggios and playing guitar and playing bass, and having all that be the main focus as well as the lyrics. So it's been really dope.
well, you also have the unique ability to be able to play it acoustically if you choose. And for a lot of listeners, it almost sounds like a completely different song.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. I like that idea of like being able to make a song that can sound good acoustically. It can sound good, produced, or it can be, you could totally just change the arrangement and still have the same kind of like format, as far as like, playing it as different as you want to. I feel like that's really a good goal that I keep in mind. Like I don't think any song that I have, uh like if I can't play it live, like like it's really not a song in my opinion. Like, because I can add some crazy arpeggiated synthesizer thing, but if I go play it live, or if I try to play it on an acoustic, and you just find out like, oh, like the foundation isn't there, it's just some crazy shredding happening on the track, like it's really not going to be there. So
Yeah, so it's a good song to start with, and you've got the basis there, and what you build upon. If the idea is good initially, you can always produce on top of that. But if you want to strip it back, it's always a good foundation, as you say. Yeah, I just found the Universe song at the track 4, was it? It sounded very satisfyingly. Like, to me, when I first heard it, I thought that sounds like it's a fully realized song. Like, are you satisfied with that particular track, that you got everything that you envisioned in that track? Like, it sounds cathartic and consistent, and satisfied to hear, like satisfying to hear.
Yeah, that song is actually pretty interesting, because I've had this piano riff that I've been trying to like make into an actual like I've tried to make it into like a jazz song, like a jazz fusion jam. I've tried making it into just like only a piano driven song, and all that stuff. But I kind of like realized that, why not just like make it into like a trap style song. Like trap is really, you know, is really amazing production and all that stuff. And that's where my friend TJ came in, and he was like, he just like, you know, lost his mind when he heard the piano riff, because I had sent him this full production with like this crazy drum driven track with the piano going, and it was really, you know, unless like you're a real musician, like musician head, like you like listen to like jazz fusion and stuff, like you'll enjoy it. But for like some people, like I would show my friends, are like, dude, there's like way too much going on. And I'm just like, yeah, you're right, like I just need to like tone it down, you know, bring like some heavy bass, some really good drums, and, you know, make it into a song. And so yeah, I'm super stoked the way it came out.
It's very reminiscent of you know, the thinking, the approach to perhaps maybe what McCartney would have to music, or like a Matt Bellamy to Muse. You know, where you have these piano melodies in your head, but you're able to incorporate them into a pop or rock song.
Oh man, yeah, man, like Muse. I remember when I listened to Muse for the first time, it was like that was the main thing of like the music was so, you know, versatile. And like even like the Beatles, like when you listen to the Beatles, how, you know, for the music that they make, like their songs are great. You know, like you're like, man, like they're great, and the music's great, and everything in there is really, it's really like musicians made that. And so I really kind of wanted to, you know, put in the practice and put in the hard work, and, you know, make these songs, and that kind of like area of thinking of just like, man, like I really love playing piano, you know, like why not incorporate that with some trap music? So
yeah, it works. A Room Full of Cards was my favorite track on the EP.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah. And it's funny that you guys mentioned Muse, because I was thinking it reminds me of something, and I thought Muse, and you mentioned that, and I also thought it was kind of like if Muse met up with Keane, you know, the band Keane.
yeah,
And it was kind of like a fusion between those two, and it was kind of, but it was different. It's kind of like they kind of went Broadway, like as you say, all this piano and stuff like that. Muse, Keane, and Broadway. Yeah. What did you think of that track? Are you fond of that track?
Yeah. I had I talked to a friend of mine about this track, because, you know, I feel like the whole vibe of it is very much like a jazz lounge kind of thing, where I wanted to put you in that area of like, you know, it's like a room legit like dim lit, and some dudes just playing piano and singing. Like I wanted to like really bring that out. And so with this track, it was really kind of like experimenting with not playing too much, as far as like, because I'm playing like that arpeggio up and down, I'm singing, but then also like the chorus, I wanted it to be solely on the chorus and nothing else other than the vocal. So it was a lot of ideas that I was just like trying to place into the right parts, and it came out really dope. And yeah, I'm stoked on that one too.
So your first single from the new EP, Home, was released. We're assuming home is referring to your home, because everybody's home now.
Yeah.
Was this whole album inspired by being in quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, home wasn't actually, home was like a single, just like a only single for the EP. I wanted to put it into the EP, but I felt like home was a statement for that, of just like, we are legit just like alone in our houses, you know, like we're like in this place where we're all experiencing this, you know. And it was something that I just wanted to write and kind of like make a guitar driven song and make it pop. And yeah, but it's like generally, yeah, it's just about being inside.
You know, you're one of the few musicians on this planet that can envision a sound and actually replicate it, because of your instrumentation, because of your ability. What are your early influences? What's your earliest recollection of music?
My earliest, I guess it would be, man, I don't really know. I guess honestly, if you wanted like my honest opinion, it would be like I would hang out with my nephew a lot, and growing up homeschooled, like all we had was music to listen to. So I have a wide array of like, you know, a fascination of music. And so at a young age, I was listening to like Underworld, Aphex Twin, Slipknot, Nick Cave, The Birthday Party. Like, you know, you can think about every band that is kind of like out there and eccentric and stuff, and going after, musical ideas. Like that's the stuff that I really like. And I also like pop, and, everything that I grew up listening to, I kind of like keep that in mind in terms of like, I think music is so versatile and it's so widespread, and it's just like this expression of people and bands and stuff. So I would say like early age, like, I say like 11 or 12 years old, just really just, digging into some like Iowa or like some Slipknot stuff,
What about Nick Drake?
Yeah, Nick Drake too, man. Yeah, Pink Moon.
Elliott Smith.
Yeah, Elliott Smith, dude. Like all any person that you can think of,
Frank Zappa,
Zappa, Bob Dylan, like, like Bowie. It's just so amazing. Like, there's so much music that is drawn towards like the inspiration and expression of it, of like what I try to do. And I think growing up, I'm super thankful for that, because a lot of people that I talk to in terms of like talking about expressing themselves and understanding where they grew up listening to music and all that stuff, is always how you build that, how we said before, like building that foundation. And so for me, it was just listening to good music and, understanding that it's everything that you can think of is out there, in terms of sound.
I read somewhere
that some of your stuff that is very sort of emotional, and it touches on feelings that a lot of people don't. You expose your vulnerability as an artist, which is very admirable. But you put it right out there, like guys like Nick Drake did. They touch the tissue of dealing with depression, and Elliott Smith the same thing. And you put it right out there. How do you sort of balance that with the world, like putting yourself out there, but sort of is there a point where you need to sort of protect that at all, like with the outside world?
I feel like with every artist, it's going to be different. For myself, I feel like expression of honesty and saying things that are on your mind is needed. I think as an artist, for myself at least, I put the music and everything that I say very personally, and I put it on my sleeve, because I feel like this is the only thing that I have that is my way of expressing. Just like how you go to a restaurant and you go to a certain place and you're eating food and you're partaking in something, and that person that made the food is making it for you. And it's just like, that's their way of expressing themselves. And for me, that's music. And so it's like, I want to make sure that I'm completely honest in what I'm saying. And I think sometimes it's needed to really, say exactly how you feel. And then you understand that, like, wow, a lot of people are going through this. And, it's crazy.
The relatability too is what gains that passionate fan base. That's when people connect to your music. People can listen to your music all day, but when they connect to it, that's when you have a fan for life.
100%. Yep. 100%.
I read somewhere at an early age, you were first exposed to music through your uncles singing Beatles tunes. Is this true?
Yeah, man. My uncle Frank. Yeah.
Good old Uncle Frank.
Yeah. He would play Beatles tunes all the time. He's
any particular ones?
I mean, what's that? What, like A Hard Day's Night? Like, all the ones that you could think of. He would always be playing it at his house, and really good memories there. But he's like one of the funniest dudes you ever meet. But
is this what inspired you to eventually become a musician?
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like that was definitely like, yeah, I would say that. I think good memories of just like,
good music with good family.
Good music, yeah, family, all that stuff is really good. And I feel like, yeah, I guess that was like the foundation of like getting the idea of just, maybe I can do music and stuff. So yeah.
Do you mind? We want to get into American Idol a little bit. You got your big break through this, but you did it in a very unorthodox way. One, you didn't play any cover songs. And two, you played an instrument where American Idol had never seen this before. talk about your approach, and were you perhaps at all reluctant to go on a show that's known for manufacturing artists?
I don't think, I think that well, there's a lot of things that led me up to that point. Um, like before I got on the show, like I was working really hard. I was working all these jobs, and I started going on tour with this band called Twin Shadow. And I was really starting to like, kind of try to establish myself as a musician. And I felt like life was like giving me these opportunities that, were opening doors, and I was like just going through, and things were, slowly getting better. And I was like, man, like, okay, cool. Like I did this step. Like I feel like I'm a musician now. Like I can do this and did that. And I'm working hard and practicing. And I feel like with American Idol, it was just that, and it was another opportunity that I was like, felt like it was really, it was scary in terms of like, I'm already feeling like I make my own music. I can do these things. And now I'm going to go on a television show, and, people want covers, and people want a certain thing, which is fine. But I feel like life definitely put this opportunity in front of me, and I just went with it. And yeah, there's no regrets or anything like that. I think it was a great experience, taught me a lot, and I continue to learn every day. So yeah, it was great.
So do you find that you're that type of person that's just bold to take on any opportunity, make the most out of any opportunity? Like, were you always like that, or was it after playing a lot, as you say, then you had the confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to use this as an avenue to really express my thing? And that stuff that you were doing, like your own songs, did that sort of give you a different sort of mojo or a different confidence throughout that whole sort of product sort of situation?
Like a feeling like I'm better than everybody here.
Yeah. Well, just sort of like to get you through, you're doing your own thing. Did it comfort you to do your own thing amongst all of that?
Well, I don't think it did. It kind of made me more scared in a way.
Okay.
If I'm gonna be honest, like,
Yeah.
I was busking and playing out in the street, and I was, working at like a lot of jobs. And so working a lot, playing every day, trying to practice, trying to do all this stuff. And I feel like if I didn't do that, it wouldn't prep me for going on a show, to express myself, because it is unknowing, as far as like the music industry and all this stuff. It's like, if you don't really know who you are, like it's something that can be, sought after from like anybody. It can be like, oh, like this person doesn't really know who he is, so like let's throw this and this and this at him. And for me, it was kind of like totally opposite, where like I felt like my whole life I'm just trying to find out who I am. And I went through, countless hours of practicing and doing all these things. And when I got to that point where I was like playing in front of television, it was just totally a new thing that I was experiencing. And so I took it as a way of learning and trying to understand what exactly I'm trying to accomplish. And so what I kept in mind was legit, like, focus on the music, focus on, practicing more, and focus on just trying to be staying healthy, keeping a positive mindset, because it's something that's, it's something that I've never experienced. So it was, going through it. It was definitely a scary time, but it was also a very, there was a lot of warm-hearted moments where I met a lot of good people and met a lot of good friends. And, I think the music, in terms of what I do now, is like, it's put me in a spot where I can make music now, and I have time to really think about what I'm going to put out. And, I have amazing people around me that are so positive. And so I think the whole experience was a great thing. And as far as like learning and stuff, in terms of like something that I really cherish is, I think with the artistry being the main focal point of it is the greatest thing that I can ever, just be thankful for. So
You just summed it up right there. I mean, you went through that whole process and you stayed true to who you are, and, which is a music purist. And you went through that whole process maintaining that consistency.
Yeah. And there was a lot of times where I had some really, you know, deep conversations with a lot of people on the show, and it was great because it was like experiencing something that was like we were all going through it. And you know, I was really like, you know, just like, whoa, like what's going on? I was just like, whoa, like this
could have been the best thing for you to sort of
Yeah.
like be working it out as you're doing it.
Mhm.
And doing it the way you're doing it was almost like a win for music in a way, but somebody homegrown trying to find out who they are amongst all of that learning, and everyone else sort of witnessing that. It's a journey for them too. So it was a win for everyone.
A win for everybody, yeah. And there was such an amazing amount of talent and amazing amount of music that was expressed, you know, and I think that was a great thing, and it was awesome.
Well, hey, is there anything else you want to add?
I mean, honestly, thank you for having me. I mean, it truly means a lot, like especially with like the EP and, you know, all these singles dropping. It really means a lot just to, you know, get the music out there, and you guys taking your time and, you know, talking about music and stuff. It really means a lot to me.
Oh, dude, we appreciate having you. I mean, it's always great to have such, you know, insightful takes on music, and especially somebody who's going through the process.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Well, so
thank you.
Don't forget, Scary Pool Party EP comes out, what, March 26th?
26th.
March 26th, baby.
Woo!
Alejandro, dude, appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure.
See you, mate.